Welcome, everybody, to our second redraft show of the year. My name's Jacob Moore, your new host and commissioner, joined by Simon Hendricks and Dylan Gramont. Guys, are we excited for today?
Oh my gosh, Jake, I'm so excited. So excited that you're here.
Can't wait. I'm even more excited that you're here, though, Jake.
Of course.
Look at that put him.
You know, I'm the most popular one in the office. Everybody knows
Yeah,
that.
everyone.
At least
Uh,
more popular than Elias.
Yeah. The last host kind of.
Well, he's Greek, so I mean.
And a big
No.
upgrade in the looks department.
I'm your host and commissioner, Elias Strackles.
But
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's
just to
certainly
remind
what I
everybody, redraft shows, they run every Wednesday on the channel. And Mondays, we have our player interviews and our video features. And Fridays will be our highlight shows and our quizzes.
This
And-
upcoming Friday, we'll release our first quiz.
Yeah,
We
you
will
guys
indeed.
stay tuned for that. But
Should be fun.
so just to remind you, I'm gonna give you guys the year. This year, this episode, it's gonna be 2011.
Yep.
So I'll give you the player who was drafted in that spot, and then you guys take who you want to take. 'Cause
Using our expertise.
nobody's an expert here. Let's.
That's not
Let's
true.
be real.
That's
Dylan.
not true. I believe I'm an expert.
Nobody
Nah.
thinks you're an expert, but
I think
I
I'm an
will-
expert, and self-belief is
Talk
most
about a
important.
narcissist.
yeah.
That's true.
But I'll remind everybody of the top 20 players in terms of games played from this draft, just so you guys know
Yep.
who they can pick from, and so you can get upset with them easier if they make a bad choice.
There you
I'm
go.
looking at
Yeah,
you, Simon.
That's great. Yeah.
But number 1, we had Bo Horvat, Aaron Ekblad, Max Domi, Darnell Nurse, Nick Ritchie, Kevin LeBanc, Jason Dickinson, Tyler Bertuzzi, Tony DeAngelo, Carter Verhaeghe, Will Butcher, Michael McCarron, Ben Harper, Justin Bailey, Steven Santini, Remy Ellie, Joseph Blandisi, Mark Friedman, Christopher Willanen, and Ian McCoshen.
There are some names in there.
Yeah, and it
That is a
really
list.
thins out towards the end, I'll say that.
And then there's just to add on some clarification. Also, Tyler Mott and JT Comfer were on the list, and they never played in the OHL.
Yeah. So we just leave them out because they never played in the OHL, and we're doing an OHL redraft.
It's unfair to count them for an OHL redraft.
We shouldn't count them, yeah. But Dylan, you got pick number 1. This
yes.
pick was the Barrie Colts originally. They picked Aaron Ekblad.
Yep.
Ekblad, of course, we all know what he's accomplished. 3 seasons in the O, and now he's a very accomplished NHL player. And the floor is yours.
With the first overall pick in the 2011 priority selection redraft, the Barrie Colts are proud to select Aaron Ekblad, just as they did in real life.
Boring.
Yeah, you say boring. I say reliable top pair defenseman.
Yeah. Okay.
You say boring. I say reliable top pair defenseman everywhere he's been, both in Barrie and in Florida. He's been consistently a key contributor, offensively, while also being a reliable defenseman, eating lots of minutes and playing against the top opponent each night.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I did say boring, but that is a very good pick.
Yeah,
Aaron,
He may not be the flashiest of players, but I think if you have Aaron Ekblad on your team, you're really happy.
Yeah, and he might be a Stanley Cup champion by the time this video
yeah,
comes
that's
out.
true.
because,
Yeah.
Panthers up 2-0 right
Yeah.
now.
As of recording, the Panthers are up 2-0.
Certainly.
We got another game tomorrow.
Kind of an enemy in the office right now because I'm cheering for Florida.
Yeah, I
against,
like Florida's
Edmonton.
team, but
I thought they were going to win in 5 at the beginning of the series, so
But
I'm not
Simon,
surprised with where
we're
at.
going to you with pick number 2 from the Peterborough Petes. They picked Nick Ritchie, and Ritchie
they did indeed.
he played with Peterborough for 4 seasons. He went to Sault Ste. Marie for 1, and his best OHL season was 74 points in 61 games. And now I think he's playing overseas. He left the NHL and after having a few rough stints in
Just
a
a
few
few.
different areas.
especially the Toronto Maple Leafs.
But,
Oh, wait, we're not doing that.
Yeah,
But,
we're really trying not to talk about the Maple Leafs here today.
I'll just give the heading. All 3 of us are giant Leaf fans, so
Yes.
we're going to try to limit the amount of Leaf references
But,
as we can.
Floor is yours. Go for it.
Yeah, so they say first the worst, second the best, and I
Who
will
says
be
that?
going.
They
They.
just they.
You never what? You never heard of
I've
that?
heard that, but I don't believe it.
Yeah, oh,
Especially in
well.
this draft because I went first.
Okay, sure. Well, either way, I will be going with Bo Horvat with the second overall pick. I think Bo Horvat is a tremendous centerman, currently playing for the New York Islanders. He was the captain of the Vancouver Canucks a few years ago. He's on a very good contract with the Islanders, I think. And He has just been a very reliable, solid NHL centerman.
Certainly.
Top 1, top 2, maybe not top 1, but definitely
You feel better if
you
he's your
feel
second
better
center.
if he's your second centerman.
Mhm.
But definitely a top 4 forward
Yeah.
on any contending NHL team. So yeah, he had a great playoff run with the London Knights
Mhm.
in 2013, where they made it to the semifinals of the Memorial Cup,
Mhm.
and he's had over 500 points in 750 NHL games. So you can't really bat an eye at that. Great player. I'm going Bo Horvat.
Mhm.
Number 2.
Get your pronunciation right there,
Yeah,
buddy. But
sorry.
yeah, I like Bo Horvat. You know, he's not just a guy who collects assists, though. He's not getting like free points because I
No,
don't like
no.
assists personally. But
Same.
uh,
I like goals too.
but he has 240 career goals, so he's not just putting up empty numbers up there. He's putting the puck in the back of the net
Mhm.
himself.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's a good pick at number 2. That's a pick you can definitely be proud of.
I am
think.
proud of that pick. Very proud.
Yeah,
You
can
might
feel-
not have many more that you're proud of in this draft.
Well, we'll see.
But,
We'll burn that bridge when we get there.
Third pick is going to Dylan. This was originally from the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds, and they picked Darnell Nurse. Of course, we all know what Nurse has done. You know, he was a solid OHL player,
Yep.
but really came into his own when he got it up to the
For sure.
NHL, and he's now like a consistent force for Oilers, and he doesn't really get the respect he deserves there.
No,
I think.
I don't think so.
But
I think
the floor is yours.
so. I thought about Darnell Nurse. I took that into consideration, but after some careful thought, with the 3rd overall pick in the 2011 priority selection redraft, the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds are proud to select Carter Verhaeghe. Carter Verhaeghe has been a tremendous goal scorer everywhere he's been, with his 40 goal campaign 2 years ago, and this past season with a goal total in the 30 range. In his last 2 seasons in Niagara in the OHL, he had 28 and 33 goals respectively. He's been a goal scorer everywhere he's been, and you were just talking about that, Jake, and I think I would rather lean with goal scoring at any time, and Verhaeghe certainly epitomizes that. He had a little bit of trouble, I think, early in his career, sticking out as an NHL player, but ultimately, and then his success in the playoffs that he's had, being a point per game in the Panthers' last playoff runs, I think it's a no-brainer for me. I would go Verhaeghe.
Yeah, Verhaeghe's a respectable choice. I just think I'd prefer a little more proven player in
Sure.
that spot. But, I mean, Verhaeghe can definitely still have a pretty solid Hall of Very good career.
Yeah,
I
and
think if he keeps trending upwards.
And I think with the ceiling you've seen with Verhaeghe scoring 40 goals, I don't think Horvat's nearly that. I think I'd rather go with this.
Well, I don't think Horvat's been on the Florida Panthers.
That's true, and that's a very fair point.
Dylan does not have a
No.
comeback.
Yeah.
You also saw Verhaeghe be productive on Tampa, which is another fair point,
Mm-hmm.
Simon. I will grant you that, but nonetheless, when you play with talented players, you still have to produce.
Yeah.
Right? Like you could say the same thing about Zach Hyman, but yes, he's playing with McDavid, but it's still impressive what he's doing.
All right, let's get this.
But anyways,
Yeah.
I
let's get
digress.
this draft
Let's-
back
I
on
digress.
track
I
here.
would still take Verhaeghe over Horvat.
I'm gonna start cutting you
That's a
off a little
wild
bit
take.
more, Dylan.
I don't think so.
You're talking a little too much
think
over
so.
there.
Am I? Okay.
But Simon, you got pick number 4. This was Sarnia's pick. They picked Ryan Kujawinski. He played 6 seasons in the OHL, and he went to 3 different teams during that time. And in 12-13, he put up 48 points in 66 games. Doesn't seem like he ever made it to the big show, though. So
I don't think
floor
he
is
did.
yours.
Unfortunately, Ryan, with all due respect, I don't know who you are, so I will not be choosing you.
Ouch.
However, I will be going with someone because I do respect Sarnia, as both my parents are originally from Sarnia.
Shout
I
out.
will be shout out Sarnia. I will be going with the one and only son of Ty, Max Domi. I believe that Max, he is just a great player. I really like Max Domi, even when he was on the Canadians, which as a Leaf fan, I kind of feel dirty about. But he had 72 points for the Canadians in 1 year. He was great for the London Knights over his 4 OHL seasons, where he had over 300 points. I don't know, what else can you really say about him? He's just a very reliable centerman, winger, forward, nitty-gritty guy. And I just think he has a really good attitude.
Yeah, and I think he kind of fell off a little bit in his career, but now he's found solid footing in Toronto this past season. And speaking about you having a soft spot for him, even when he was on Montreal, I think every Leaf fan kind of had a soft spot for him
exactly.
because of his because of his
dad.
his
Yeah.
genealogy, as we say.
Exactly, and he is a former Don Mills Flyer.
Yeah.
With the GTHL.
Yeah.
So
That's
out.
most important. That he's a GTHL
Yes,
grad.
exactly. He should have been first overall. Just
Not to mention his successful career he had in London.
Yes.
I think
yes,
that's
we did.
something you kind of forget.
Mhm.
Yeah, you do forget that.
But I'm gonna move on to pick number 5 here now. This one's Dylan's. Belleville Bulls owned this pick back in 2011, and they picked Jordan Subban, who played 4 seasons in the OHL, and his best season was in 14-15, 52 points in 63 games, but didn't seem like it panned out too well for him.
No.
After that.
I still was productive in the OHL nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
With the 5th overall pick, the Belleville Bulls in the 2011 priority selection redraft are proud to select Tyler Bertuzzi. Yet another Leaf and a running mate of Max Domi's. We're going to try to limit the Leafs references, so I'll just move on with that. Without that, he originally went 78th overall to Guelph in the actual 2011 priority selection. He scored 43 goals his last year in Guelph. He's been a key contributor offensively in his stops in Detroit, Boston, and Toronto, and he's always added that physical element, which I think is something that's really important, especially in hockey and especially in playoff hockey as well, which you really saw him showcase when he was with Boston and even Toronto to an extent.
Yeah, Tyler Bertuzzi's done a lot for all the teams he's gone to, and he provides offense and physicality, which I think is a little lost in today's game that I think we need to bring back.
Yeah, the power forward role kind of gets...
It's been watered down as years have gone
on. In times, it's either one or the other, that you're either the physical presence or you're the goal scorer. There's a lack of power. I mean, there's the Kachucks, obviously, but the power forward role is something that's been a little lost as of late.
Yeah. But
right, he's not a Hall of Famer, for God's sake. Let's pump the brakes a little bit here. He's a good player, don't get me wrong, but we're talking about him like he's the second coming of Jesus over here.
I don't think I'm
doing it. I
don't think I'm overdoing it. I don't think so.
But
I'm just saying, you guys are oh my gosh.
He fills a role not many players fill. I think you got to respect.
Yeah,
that.
there's a limited range
that.
of the power forwards left in the NHL. There's the Kachucks, there's Tom Wilson, Bertuzzi's got to be on that list near there, right? It depends how you classify power forward.
When I think of power forward, I think of big body who throws his weight around. When I think of Tyler Bertuzzi, I just think of greasy rat who doesn't.
Alrighty, we're gonna cut you two off there now.
Okay, I don't know.
Okay, we can stop with the Tyler Bertuzzi rant, but the pick number 6 is going to Simon here. Sudbury owned this pick all the way back in the distant year of 2011,
Very distant.
They picked Nicholas Baptiste, who played 5 OHL seasons and now become a career AHLer with 8 seasons in the AHL so far.
Well, yet again, I will not be repeating history, and I will be going with current Edmonton Oiler, also current player trying to win the Stanley Cup this year, Darnell Nurse, who once upon a time, let's not forget, was the #1 defenseman for Edmonton, granting him that $9.25 million contract.
But
say what you will.
Most importantly, let's not forget he was a Don Mills Flyer.
Of course.
Yeah.
But putting this contract aside, which I think is such a stupid reason to hate a player, the GM presented a contract. He would be stupid not to sign it. So let's get that narrative out of the way. But kind of like we were referencing before, we all think that I shouldn't say we all, I shouldn't speak for everyone else, but I personally think that Darnell Nurse is almost overhated to a point where he's now underrated.
Couldn't agree more.
And, he is a top 4 defenseman on any team in the league.
Yeah.
Say what you will about him, but that's just how good he is.
Regardless of the contract, I think the other thing with Nurse that fans overlook sometimes is what he does isn't quantifiable.
Yeah.
It's not easily seen and noticed, whereas Bouchard, who's on his team, you can see and you can clearly identify why he's good, why he's productive. Right? With Nurse, he plays a defensive defenseman role, and that's not so easily seen.
Yeah, and even to push what Simon said to an extreme here, I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a team where Darnell Nurse wouldn't fit. If you take the contract out of the equation, I think there isn't a team where he wouldn't fit into the top 2 defenseman role.
I would say top 4.
Isn't many
four,
teams
top
you wouldn't
3,
be a top 2 defenseman.
That's fair.
on,
That's a fair point. Fair point.
But I like that pick, and you're finally getting some solid picks in, Simon.
Yeah, that was your best pick yet.
Finally, what are we talking about
That
here?
was your best
Yeah.
pick yet.
Oh my god.
But Dylan, we're going back to you with pick number 7.
Yeah.
This one was the Brampton Battalions, and they picked Brandon Robinson. He played 6 seasons in the OHL, 3 seasons with the Battalion, and 3 with Kitchener. And his best season was in 14-15, where he scored 54 points in 62 OHL games with Kitchener. And I don't think he's done too much since then.
That's a productive OHL career, though,
Yeah.
that last season. So, on the track of offensive production, I'm going to go with, for the 7th overall pick in the 2011 priority selection redraft for the Brampton Battalion, Tony DeAngelo. Tony DeAngelo, I'm going to put aside all the off-ice situation with Tony DeAngelo. Let's not go there. I don't think that's fair for this. I'm just taking into account his on-ice production.
That's fair.
He's been a productive player everywhere he's been, in Sarnia, in Sault Ste. Marie, and all of his stops in the NHL. Is he flawed defensively? Yes. But does he do something specifically well? As an offensive defenseman? Absolutely. I would be content and happy with Tony DeAngelo quarterbacking your power play. We were talking about this earlier. It's a little bit like Tyson Barrie, I think.
Yeah.
In that there are flaws, but you can, even Bouchard to an extent, but not as much. There are flaws, but you have to just be able to cover them up, right? So I think Tony DeAngelo offensively would have gone higher, but you forget that defense is a part of it.
Yeah.
So that's why he slid.
I'm going to disagree with you here. I think you can't take what Tony DeAngelo has done off the ice. I think you have to take that into equation, because we have seen draft controversies.
That's true.
Before, and questionable signings
That's fair.
The Mitchell Miller signing by Boston, and then drafting Logan Mailloux when Montreal did that.
Yep.
That even if of course Mailloux is still in the organization with Montreal, but still that caused a media controversy.
Oh,
that
for sure.
if you're the Canadians, you would go back and avoid that if you could. But
I just don't think it's fair to consider for this exercise, at least. I think we should just stick to his on-ice play.
that's fair. I can agree with you, but also disagree with you at the same time. But
understandable.
That's very noble of you, Jake.
of course, I'm a
Very
very
noble.
noble guy and
Yeah.
very understanding.
That's the adjective most
That's
used
what the
to
women
describe
like
Jake.
about me.
Yeah, if there's one word that comes to mind about you, it is noble.
Yeah.
Adjective most used to
Noble
describe
and
Jake.
wise.
So everybody describes me. But let's recap our first 7 picks here quickly,
Yep.
and then we're going to swing to a quick ad break. But first overall, we had Aaron Ekblad, then Bo Horvat, Carter Verhaeghe, Max Domi, Tyler Bertuzzi, Darnell Nurse, and Tony DeAngelo. But we'll be back in just a second after a quick ad break.
Alessandro Diorio and the Von Kings take on Nolan Long and the Don Mills Flyers in a matchup at Westwood Arena. Catch the action of the next OHL stars.
And we're back from ad break, but we got Simon here with the 8th pick in this draft. It was Kingston's pick. They chose Max Domi, and I think we've recapped Max Domi enough
We
so
have.
far in this draft, so I'll just give you the floor now.
Well, with the 8th overall pick, I will be going a little bit off the board, and I will be drafting Kevin LeBlanc. LeBlanc,
Okay.
however you want to say it. I believe he is a very good player, albeit for a pretty bad team at San Jose. But
He said no. There was
But
times
yeah,
where they
well,
were
that's
good.
just exactly right. I was
Yeah.
just gonna
I
say
don't think that's
when they were a pretty decent team, he had a couple near 40-point campaigns for the squad, and again, he was a OHLer. Obviously, with Barrie, he had 3 seasons there, and yeah, in his last year with Barrie, he had 127 points, so a very good junior career as well. Just a very solid. Third line forward in the NHL, star for the Barrie Colts. So I will be going
Also
with
productive for the U.S. National Development Program.
exactly.
For that, as a great pick, he was gonna be my next pick.
Yeah, I know he was.
Yeah, you had a feeling.
I just had a feeling he
Yeah.
was. I'm just looking at the names on this list, and there was
It gets a little grim after
Yeah,
LeBlanc.
yeah.
It
LeBlanc,
starts
I think LeBlanc really
get
stands out
pretty
from the rest.
rough as we start getting farther down, but that's a respectable pick. You know,
Thank you.
He served a role with San Jose for
He
a
did.
while.
When they made the Cup final, I think
Yeah.
LeBlanc was quite productive
Yes,
in his
he was.
playoff run.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I respect that. But we're going to go to Dylan here with pick number 9.
Mhm.
This was the London Knights, and they picked Bo Horvat. Again,
Yep.
we've already talked about this guy quite a bit
I
so
think
far,
that's more than enough.
as he
for
went
Horvat.
second in the redraft already. So
Mhm.
I'll just give you the floor now. And
With the 9th overall pick,
Don't screw it up.
The London Knights are proud to select Nick Ritchie.
he may have screwed it up.
He may have. Is it over?
Nick Ritchie, big body forward, productive OHL player. NHL career probably didn't pan out as well as you wanted to,
Yeah.
It certainly didn't.
but he was productive in the OHL throughout his career. He's had some chances in the top 6 of teams. Probably not ideally what he's best suited for. In a playoff run with Sault Ste. Marie, he had 26 points in a 14 playoff game run, and he also, most importantly, Marlborough alum, GTHL.
Yeah. Another
So-
GTHL guy. Shout
Most
out.
importantly.
Most importantly,
Yeah.
it's
But,
the best thing Nick Ritchie's got going for him. So
Yeah. But yeah, Nick Ritchie, he was constantly given opportunities.
He
And,
was. He was.
For the Leafs especially. I mean, he
Mhm.
got
Tavares
first
and
line-
Nylander.
Yeah.
Also
as the left
a
wing.
little bit of Matthews and Marner
Yeah,
at some
and,
points too.
he just couldn't figure it out, even surrounded by like some of the best players in the league.
Mm-hmm.
But he had a lot of tools,
Yeah.
but he just couldn't put them together. And
No. To Don
produce-
Cherry's dismay.
It's
yeah,
unfortunate.
Yeah.
Don Cherry is absolutely turning over in his grave
He's
about this.
still alive, Jake.
Yeah, but he's dead in our hearts. All right, we're moving on.
God.
I will
To
say,
pick-
I will say though, just in Nick
Oh,
Ritchie's defense, he did have half a point per game season in the NHL
It's a pretty
With
good
who?
season.
with Anaheim.
Oh, well.
So
With who? You're supposed to know this. You picked him.
I didn't pick him.
I picked him.
He picked
Oh.
him.
Excuse me.
Well, the host is a little lost here. But
Yeah, we're on to the
moving
10th.
on.
Host,
we're on
That's
to the
my
10th pick.
mistake. Simon's got pick number 10 here with Guelph Storm. They picked Hunter Garland. He played 6 seasons in the OHL. You don't see a guy play 6 seasons in the OHL anymore. He played 3 with Guelph, 3 with Peterborough, and he never made it to the any big show. But
No big show.
yeah, no big show. But his latest season was in the Swiss A-League.
No big show. Paul White would be very upset. Wrestling fans will get that
Did you
reference.
study the Swiss League in prep for this?
No, I did not.
Disappointing.
I did not.
Last week it wasn't. Last week it was the German league you didn't watch.
I
This
know.
league,
Yeah.
man, Europe's disappointed in you. Right
I know,
now.
and I have a scratch on like my back shoulder that I
want me
can't
to get it
really
for you?
reach right now.
Here, I got you. Do your pick.
Yeah,
make your
okay,
pick.
It's right. Oh, actually, that's actually perfect. Okay, that's good. Thank you. With the 10th overall pick, that was so weird. I will be going with current Chicago Blackhawk Jason Dickinson.
Guy stole my pick again.
Yep, I did. Again, there's kind of a few names on here that I don't really know, or I shouldn't say I don't really know, but are
Not so
not
familiar
as good and not in the
Just
NHL
openly
anymore.
admitting you don't know hockey.
No, come on. But no, Jason Dickinson, he is a good player who unfortunately does play for one of the worst teams in the NHL right now. But he was on Dallas before he was in Chicago. Serviceable, bottom 6, or I guess maybe even 4th line center. And
20,
yeah,
over 20 goals this year though.
yeah, that's right. I mean, again, he does play for Chicago, so like someone's got to score. But yet again, decent player, Jason Dickinson. I'm going with
Yeah,
you.
he's a good guy. We're gonna try to speed up these picks here. I think
High character
we're
guy.
in the
Lollygagging a little bit.
When we get to points like, oh, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
That's when you know
He's
a
we're-
good
we're kinda
clubhouse
reaching.
presence.
It's a little
yeah,
grim.
Yeah.
But Dylan, you got pick number 11th. It's the Plymouth Whalers, and they picked Mitchell Dempsey. He
Yep.
played 4 OHL seasons. He played in a lot of different areas in the OHL, but never made it to the NHL. The floor is yours.
With the 11th overall pick in the 2011 priority selection redraft, the Plymouth Whalers are proud to select Ben Harper. Going off the board a little
Wow.
bit. Going off the board
That's
a
a
little
pick.
bit.
That's a pick.
Ben Harper played 198 NHL games, won a Memorial Cup with Guelph, and stuck around the OHL for 5 seasons. A stay-at-home defenseman, but
Yeah.
nonetheless got into a lot of games.
Now, okay, I will say, I know we just made this joke.
Yeah.
However, when he was still in Nashville, I was watching a Nashville Predators game, and they did a whole feature on him
I was a great guy.
where they said that he was a great locker room guy. So if we're taking that into consideration, I feel like we do need to say that.
Just for Ben Harper's sake, I want to give him a shout out for his 2016-17 AHL season, where in 63 games he had his career high of 2 goals and 25 assists. So 27 points.
It's pretty.
There you
That's a
go, Ben
solid
Harper.
amount.
Yeah.
He's a
Ben Harper.
defenseman,
Hey,
right?
that is-
Defensive
That's
defenseman.
respectful.
that is 2 more AHL goals than everyone you probably know ever has. So,
Unless you know some.
That's fair.
unless
say
you
AHL
know
player.
someone who
But
played
anyways,
in the AHL.
defensive defenseman added some size and physicality, and a contributor to a winning Memorial Cup team in the OHL, and played 200 NHL games, almost 200 NHL games.
That's respectable. When a guy gets up to, above 100 NHL games, you
I
can
know
say
it.
he had a career.
Yeah, I didn't know
100%.
that he played over
Yeah.
200 NHL games.
And we're going to Simon with pick number 12. This one was owned by the Erie Otters, and they picked Stephen Harper, not the former Canadian Prime Minister, by the
Are
way.
we sure about that, Jake?
Yeah, we had our statisticians check that for us, and they ran the numbers. They deduced that it wasn't
Some number
the
crunching went on.
Canadian
Okay.
Prime Minister.
Good to know.
But this guy played 7 seasons in the OHL. He played with 4 different OHL teams. He also was at Acadia University in Nova Scotia, and last season he was in the Czech Republic playing.
Interesting. Way to be Stephen Harper. Not
The high-end European league.
Not
Czech
the
Republic.
former Canadian Prime Minister, Stephen Harper.
Yeah, so who are you going to go with here?
With the 12th pick in the draft, I will be choosing none other than Sabres player of all time, Justin Bailey. I believe this man was on the formidable team, the formidable Jack Eichel and Taylor Hall Sabres team.
What a rough time
Ah,
to
the
be
glory
a
days.
Sabres
As
fan.
a 4th liner, albeit maybe
Oh, boy.
like an in-between AHL and NHLer.
A quad A.
Yes, a quad A
That's a baseball
NHL.
reference for
Yes,
those
a
of you.
quad A NHLer. I have a few points on him. Very basic. Over 100 NHL games played.
Check.
Career high this past season in
Nice.
points. Very productive OHL player and had a very productive OHL Memorial Cup run, although he did not win it.
Nice.
But we are getting to like the bottom of the barrel here, and I think for where we're at and the names remaining on this list, Justin Bailey isn't an awful pick.
I
And
don't
again,
think so I
he's
think
g-
I can do better than you. but
Okay,
that was-
well,
Yeah, I don't hate that pick from you, but I think
oh my god.
I think there's better names on the board for you to choose from.
All right.
but
Well, before you
I-
guys bury me, let's move on to see where someone else.
Yeah, let's go back to-
the expert.
let's go back to
Can
Dylan
do,
here for pick
yeah.
number 13.
Mhm.
The Windsor Spitfires had this pick. They
Yep.
picked Jordan Maleta. He played 6 seasons in the OHL,
Sure.
2 with Windsor, 4 with Niagara, and in his latest season, he was found at Brock University playing in the OUA.
Shout out
Nice.
OUA.
I love the OUA.
I enjoyed when TMU beat Brock. Most
Roll
importantly.
bold.
Roll bold. That's right.
Roll bold.
But anyways, with the 13th overall pick in the 2011 priority selection redraft, the Windsor Spitfires are proud to select Michael McCarron. Michael McCarron, a relatively productive OHL player with 3 seasons with some decent offensive production. He was terrific in the playoff run to win the Memorial Cup with the Oshawa Generals while he was there. He provides physicality and is an intimidating presence, and he had a career high this past season. Not to mention he had 100 PIMs. That's not something you see too often in
PIMs.
today's day and age.
He likes to throw the body around. He's going out
Certainly.
there to hurt someone.
I don't
No.
think that's true. I don't.
Wow.
That's a bit harsh.
But
that's
when you're a
harsh.
physical guy, you're going out to send a message.
Oh,
and
you're
if
going to
that's-
set a tone.
If
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
through pain, then so be it.
I think
you
you're
know.
definitely he's definitely there to set a tone. He was a 4th liner on a playoff team, which Justin Bailey was not. Plus,
Little
Mike-
beef.
plus,
Well,
Mi-
like,
plus
yeah,
Michael McCarron.
jeez,
Plus
come
Michael
on.
McCarron won the Memorial Cup. Justin Bailey also didn't.
Okay.
Sounds like there's a little rivalry forming between.
Jeez.
Not to
these
mention
two.
Michael McCarron's like 6'6", and he's a intimidating physical.
Like Michael
force.
McCarron's not like on the top line gonna get the Conn Smythe
Nah,
kind of
he's not.
thing. Like, come on here.
Neither is Justin Bailey.
So-
man.
Justin Bailey's certainly
I
not,
never
though.
said that. I
Justin
never
Bailey's
said
certainly
that.
not though.
No
All right, but
disrespect
I'm
to
gonna-
Justin Bailey.
I'm not-
We love you, Justin.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
cut you guys off there because you guys could just go on for hours. You're like a married couple.
Oh God.
But
With the amount of time
Simon,
we spend together, we bicker like a married couple. It's true.
Simon, the 14th pick is yours. This was Kitchener Rangers originally, and they picked Brent Peterson with the 14th overall pick. He played 5 OHL seasons. He moved around quite a bit, and he spent 3 seasons at Laurier, which is another OUA
Oh,
show.
yet another OUA
Shout
shout-out.
out to Waterloo Laurier, my hometown.
What a terrible hometown.
Hey, don't badmouth Waterloo. Although they do have a big rat problem. Rats are like roaming the streets.
Yeah,
of
but you
Waterloo.
left, so that rat problem should be gone now.
Oh, got him.
Got him. Yeah, you did get him.
Damn it.
Go ahead, Simon. Make your pick.
Oh, I don't think I can recover from that now. Oh my
But
God.
who are you gonna pick here, Simon?
Oh man, I feel like I'm gonna have to go to therapy after this episode. No, I'm
Yikes.
kidding. No, I'm kidding. I will be going with a goalie here, a goalie that has played in the NHL. But again, this is an OHL redraft, and we do have to take their OHL stats into consideration. Spencer Martin put up a season where he posted a 9-1 save percentage and won over 20 games, which isn't too much, but still.
That's a solid year for
It's
a
a
goalie,
solid
but
year
I mean,
for a goalie. For the Mississauga Steelheads in the OHL, that is.
Oh, the OHL. I thought you were
Yeah,
bringing
no,
the
no,
NHL
no,
stats.
no, but
You're
still.
catfishing the crowd here.
I clearly explained that I was talking about his OHL stats, Mr. Host. He's lost over there.
It's not listening.
But again, he has played in over 50 NHL games for Colorado, Vancouver,
goalie, that's an
Columbus,
impressive,
and, yeah, exactly,
achievement.
and Carolina. Don't look up his stats because they're not that good.
Hey, his stats in Mississauga weren't bad.
But no.
Yeah.
But like I said, productive as a backup, kind of third string in between NHL and AHL goalie. So Spencer Martin, you are my last pick.
That's a respectable choice, but I think, as usual, you can do better. You know, I think you heard that from teachers
my
a lot
God.
going through school. You can do better, Simon. But
How
that's
do
a
you know?
respectable pick, and that's all 14 picks that we had for you today. Let's go through some honorable mentions first, because we didn't mention a few players, JT Comper, Butcher, and Mott, because they were drafted in this draft,
but
but
elected to play college hockey.
yeah,
instead.
they went overseas, or well, not overseas, sorry, to America to play college hockey, and put
That
them
would
in a
be
better
across some
spot.
body of water, you'd think.
The Great
No.
Lakes.
The Great Lakes, perhaps.
Well, it depends on
Depends
where
where.
you go.
Depends on
the
where they're
Hudson
playing.
River, perhaps.
But
I mean,
you're
that's still
really
Canada, but-
grasping at.
I'm
straws
trying to help
today.
you out here, Jake.
Yeah, I'll just own my mistake.
There you go.
But yeah, we didn't mention them because they went overseas and they never made an appearance. Oh my, I said it again, but they never made an OHL appearance.
We're going off the
And
rails
so
here.
But
we,
we're drafted in the OHL.
We decided not to pick them.
Yeah, we didn't think
But,
it'd be
Kind
fair.
of unfair to
It would be
all the
exactly.
people who did play
Let's
in the
go
OHL,
through
right?
our 14 picks that you guys chose.
Please do.
So Aaron Ekblad was chosen first overall by Dylan.
Yep.
Simon retorted with Bo Horvat, which I think you lost that battle, Simon.
Yeah, of course.
But Carter Verhaeghe was next, then Max Domi, Tyler Bertuzzi, Darnell Nurse, Tony D'Angelo, Kevin LeBanc, Nick Ritchie, Jason Dickinson, Ben Harper, Justin Bailey, Michael McCarron, and then Spencer Martin. And you guys proud of your choices here?
I am very proud with my
you
choices.
should not be.
I am, though, because
I
my
think,
squad,
Jake-
I am talking, Dylan. My squad are my picks, and they all came from the heart.
Yeah.
So no matter what this guy says with his intuition and logic,
I was
my
going to give you
players-
some credit. How dare
my
you?
players get me where
You know,
it counts.
I know they say heart wins you games, but what your
Heart
heart
beats
choice-
skill when skill doesn't work hard.
Yeah, but
I work hard.
that is not the saying. But I was gonna
That's not the
say,
saying,
I
but-
know heart wins games, but your heart is winning 0 games with those picks.
I don't think
man.
that's true. I think, Jake, I think you're being a little harsh on Simon.
Yeah,
But
Jake.
I think he deserves it a little bit.
For some of them,
Dylan,
yes.
you were
Wow.
decent. I'll say that.
I think Horvat versus Verhaeghe, he deserves some grief over that. But I think he recovered in the later stages of the draft
yeah,
I would
but
agree.
with his pick, with LeBanc as his pick, and
Justin Bailey
Justin
was
Bailey.
great. Was an awesome
sure,
pick,
yeah, Justin
wasn't
Bailey.
it?
Mhm.
Sure.
Yeah, but how do you feel about your own draft? Dylan?
I'm really happy with it. I think, given the situation and given each pick, I think I got some value. I think even McCarron at 13, I think was
Yeah,
my
that's a good
was
pick.
my favorite value of the draft.
But that's all we have for you today. Stay tuned for next week, where we're gonna be redrafting what year, guys?
2010,
2010.
year of the golden goal.
It's going to be exciting. A lot of good names going to be coming out of that draft. But stay tuned this Friday as well. We're going to be releasing our first quiz. And you're going to want to watch this one because I'm going to win it. And
Or so he says.
but
Yeah, that's what you think, Jake, huh?
thank you all for watching. And from everybody here at Six Hockey, Jacob Moore, your host, Simon Hendricks, draftee, or drafter, I should say.
Draft
my bad.
expert.
Not an expert.
We're using the term expert loosely on that
Dylan
one.
Gramont, another drafter, and Elias Strakos on audio and producer role. Thank you all for watching and have a great day.